Lee, and with me as usual is Gregory. Gregory, how are you and how is the weather where you are?
We are well, and it is cold.
Cold. Yes, here in London it has been snowing, cold as you said. Snowing yesterday. Today there's just the remnants of the snow is still there. Um, and cold, very, very chilly. So welcome listeners to this spiritual discussion program. The aim of the show is to introduce you to the spiritual knowledge in the light of truth, the Grail message by Abdushin. And we always have a new topic each week for discussion. The topic tonight is our wonderful creation. Our wonderful creation. You are welcome to join us with any questions or comments by contacting us on our UK number, which is 079 958. You can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And if you're outside of UK, it is 00447939641958. Again, you can call, text, or use WhatsApp. I'm afraid I'm hearing my echo again, and I hope it's not you're not hearing it yourself. Gregory, can I just check? Are you hearing an echo?
No.
Ah, that's good. I'm happy about that. So, dear listeners, I want to begin with, as usual, what is the Grail message? The Grail message, in the light of truth, by Atrushin, is a spiritual knowledge of life. It offers an explanation of the world, a picture of creation on the basis of natural laws. Its lectures contain valuable basic elements as a help in life, for through the knowledge mediated, the reader is again brought closer to life and led back to God. The Grail message deals with important fundamental questions of life by explaining in a clear and logical way the automatic working of the laws of nature, the whole weaving of creation, allowing every process to be recognized and thereby the purpose of our whole life. It is directed at the individual and speaks to the innate experiences of the human being, their strengths and weaknesses. Thus, every reader has the opportunity to discover through the intuitive perception if what is stated is the truth. Combining with matter-of-fact reasoning, a complete world picture arises, where there is no separation between the visible world and the great world beyond the five senses, nor any separation between scientific and religious striving for knowledge. I'd like to give you a couple of quotes from the author of the Grail message. The hearer and reader of my lectures should always work within himself, keenly probing and building bridges from one lecture to the other, as well as out into the great and small world happenings. Only then will he be able to understand the Grail message and find that it gradually shapes itself into one complete whole without leaving any gaps. Again and again in all the happenings, the reader will come back to the basic features. He can explain everything without having to change even one single sentence. The word of the Grail message lives, so that it permits only those people who really carry the honest desire in their souls to find abundantly. All else is automatically rejected by it. For the arrogant and those who seek superficially, the message will remain the book with 7 seals. And I'd like to give you one more quote from the author. I wish to fill the gaps which have so far always remained unanswered in the souls of men, and which never leave any serious thinker in peace if he earnestly seeks for the truth. So, dear listeners, just to remind you, the topic we're discussing tonight is our wonderful creation. You're welcome to join us with any questions or comments by contacting us on our UK number, which is 079 39 641 958. You can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And if you're outside of UK, it is 0044 79 39 641 958. Again, you can call, text, or use WhatsApp. Now, Gregory, you know I like to look in the dictionary for the meaning of the words in our topic. And I didn't bother to look up the word hour. I think that's very obvious to what it means. So the next word is wonderful. And even in a way, we know what it means, but I thought I'd check that. It says inspiring delight, pleasure, or admiration, extremely good, marvelous. So that is the meaning given in the dictionary for wonderful. What do you say about that, Gregory? This meaning of wonderful.
Of course, such is also helpful.
Good. Because I think we all sort of have our own way of seeing it, and so the dictionary has found many words for it. So I will move on to the next word, which is creation. And that in the dictionary it says the action or process of bringing something into existence. And there's a further meaning, but let me go back on this one. The meaning of creation given in the dictionary, the action or process of bringing something into existence. Is that a good definition there, Gregory?
Well, what has been described is only a process or an activity, an ongoing activity,
Right.
which is part of it.
A part of it, okay. Let me give the second meaning that is also given in the dictionary. It says the creating of the universe, especially when regarded as an act of God. How about that, Gregory?
It's the same as you just described.
Right.
But again, it's just part of it. It's telling you of the verb, which is the activity. It hasn't gone beyond that.
Yes. I mean, the word creation on its own, it doesn't say what is being created the creation is a noun actually, but the activity is creating, as you said. But in a way, there's so many ways people use this word creation, in whatever concept they're trying to provide us or explain to us. So I think we'll just go and continue and, go further in, what we want to discuss about it tonight. So let's start with that word creation, Gregory. Is it the creation, Gregory? What can we say for our discussion tonight when we talk about creation? Is it just the world, the physical universe? Is it more than that?
Well, when creation is considered, it is the contents that make creation or that one may describe as creation, not only the contents, which contents you just refer to as a noun, but also the activities, which is the verbs.
Right. Okay. So we need to group them together as the noun and the verb in our discussion. Okay.
Yes.
So, but let's try to be more specific, because otherwise people may not have a clue what we are referring to when we are talking about a particular thing. So let's say, Gregory, how should we start that? Can we say, I'm trying to think of how should we say how creation started? I mean, there's a story in Genesis of, I could say, how creation started. I think it says, let there be light. I didn't actually check that in the Bible for this program. So I think it says, let there be light. So God said, let there be light. And, well, I'm trying to do this from memory, which is probably not a good idea. But, and then, can you continue from there, Gregory? Was there some process from that moment?
First, one must make the attempt to understand what creation is as a noun and as a verb.
Right.
Like had been described initially, the coming into existence. When one takes that one precisely, the coming into existence only means that which had come into existence was not there before. Else, there will be no need to talk about coming into existence. However, the stuff required for the coming into existence, that must have been, and it is that which needs to be considered. So when creation is mentioned, one must strive to put together within one's thoughts, within one's imagination, a process. Which process considers the stuff that came into existence in the manner in which it is perceptible. So when one is discussing creation, one must be able to use some vehicle to imagine how it is, and that vehicle is here on earth, the five senses, or if it is not of the five senses which is of matter, then one must have an intuitive picture of that process of creating.
Thank you very much for this answer, Gregory. I know you're setting out you could say, the context and the framework of how we're supposed to understand what is creation. Something that didn't exist before, you started with saying, and then, but we all know, if we're going to talk something logically, you can't get something out of nothing. There must have been something that produced something. So now we said creation, it didn't exist in this, what we are talking about. It is something that didn't exist before, and now it is being created from, obviously, something. So in all these elements, we need to understand that. Now, Shall we go to the process described in the Bible in Genesis, Gregory, when God said, "Let there be light," and then in fact, as I say, I've forgotten. I wish I could just refer. In fact, I can look in the Bible, but we'll just go by memory for now. So, shall we look at that process, Gregory?
Yeah, but one has to precisely present what the process is.
Right. Okay. So let's start with this logical thinking. So, like you said, Gregory, there was let's say, no creation at one point, and then creation came into being, and it didn't come out of nothing. That's what we have sort of clearly established. So, what brought, and let's say we human beings are living in this creation. That's part of the picture of what we are saying is creation. We could say it is the physical universe that we are familiar with. What else? Let's describe this creation, so we can first have that idea before we say how it came about. So, can you define, Gregory, for our discussion tonight, what is creation?
It is important first to take into consideration what one is familiar with. That which one is familiar with is matter. Because the human personality has matter at its command and is able to interact with matter just as we ourselves are doing currently.
Right.
Matter itself is what is being referred to as condensed energy. It therefore means energy must have existed. That energy, strictly speaking, was not creation. So, when things in a process are considered to be in a state of condensation, then one has some entities which did not exist before, but now has come into existence. It is that process, basically, which is referred to as that of creation. That is the connections one can easily see. On the other hand, there is the area of the category. In creation, what are the different stages of condensation of that energy? And how did that happen? These are the questions each personality must ask himself or herself. For energy, as has been discussed, is not perceptible to the physical eyes or the physical senses, but energy has an effect on that which has precipitated. So, when one considers it very carefully, energy itself may be referred to as radiation, which radiation had always been there and is always there. But when this radiation cools down, then we have objects, solid objects. It is the coming into existence of this solid object which many consider as a creation. However, the coming into existence of this solidity did not happen in an arbitrary manner. For in the coming into existence of these solidities, there were rules, or there are rules, for even the process of solidification. That in itself is motion. Therefore, one can proceed further and generally accept that motion is a law in creation, for all the contents of creation are in a process of motion, continuous movement. Like had been discussed in the past, there are two basic features in this motion. The motion in which the end of the motion returns to the beginning. That is, the end joins back to the beginning. That is motion, which one can safely say is a reciprocal activity. One can also say that in such a motion, where the end flows back to the beginning, there seems to be some form of attraction. Therefore, another law has come into, or as we perceive it, that of the attraction, an attraction of homogeneity. It is this law of the attraction of homogeneity that defines the different categories. So from motion, one can already have two laws. First, the law of the attraction of homogeneity and the law of reciprocal action. But there is another feature in which the end does not flow back to the beginning. In that particular instance, one will find that since the end does not flow back to the beginning, it only means the end must be denser than the beginning. That process of densification, that process of condensation, which leads to densification of the entities of energy, that process one may refer to as gravitation. So, very clearly and very simply, on the one hand, the stuff, which stuff is the natural radiation that is used for the creation of forms, and on the other hand, the laws which have arisen out of motion. When these two are considered, then we have creation. So when creation is discussed, it is the entities, the contents of creation, which contents form the noun, and on the other hand, the process, that means the activities, which, strictly speaking, is part of the law of creation, because motion is a law in creation. So when these things are put together, one may have an inkling of how creation came into existence.
Thank you so much, Gregory, for this answer, picture, explanation. It's really starting to make sense, of this process of creation, what it is actually, what is creation. And it's put in a very, I would say, simple and understandable way. There's an energy that is being condensed into matter, or at least in the one part of that story of creation is that. So thank you for that very clear picture. Dear listeners, you're listening to Bless Radio. It's the Tuesday evening spiritual discussion program from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. UK time. The aim of the show is to introduce you to the spiritual knowledge in the light of truth, the Grail message by Abdushin. If you are interested in knowing more about the Grail message or want to get a copy of the Grail message for yourself, you can go to this website, which is www.grailmessage.com. I'll spell that. www.grail, Grail, message, MESSAGE.com. And the topic we're discussing tonight is our wonderful creation. You're welcome to join us with any questions or comments by contacting us on our UK number, which is 079 39 641 958. You can call, text, or use WhatsApp. If you're outside of UK, it is 0044 79 39 641 958. Again, you can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And broadcasting on Bless Radio 1, number 1.com. You can also listen to us on YouTube. Go to youtube.com. Type in the space, Bless Radio 1, the number 1 again, space, live stream. That's for the live show. You can listen to the recording of this show the next day. Again on YouTube. Go to youtube.com and type in the space, Bless Radio 1, that's number 1 again, space, Grail message, space, the topic of the show, which is tonight, wonderful creation. And of course, you can listen to the recording of our previous shows as well, also on YouTube. Thirdly, broadcasting on Zeno. That's ZENO.fm/Bless Radio 1 again. Gregory, we've got a conception now of what creation is. As you said, it's condensation of energy in one form. We said it was matter, which you are very familiar with, the physical world. Now, I'm just wondering, is there any other form in creation apart from matter?
Could you repeat the question, please?
Yes, I just said that, you talk about matter as a form of creation, one of the forms of creation. Is there any other form in creation, of creation?
Of course there is. At the beginning, one started with that which many a person is familiar with, and that is matter. At the beginning, in the precipitation, the first precipitation of energy, that first precipitation, the nature of it, if one may use the word nature at all, that is of spirituality. That which existed, that which was, which is, which has always remained, from whence radiation streamed out, that which has always been there is divinity. So when creation had to come into existence, it only meant a precipitation from out of divinity. That precipitation, that first precipitation, is referred to or categorized as the primordial spiritual. After the first precipitation, there is a second precipitation from out of spirituality. That precipitation itself is categorized as that of the animistic. And after the precipitation of the animistic, therein comes the world of matter, which world of matter is used as covering. It's used as covering in the sense that which animates matter, once it departs from matter, matter will sink to its own level. So there are three big categories. The first category is spirituality. Below that, the second category is animistic. And the last one, which is a subsequent creation from out of the animistic, that is referred to as the world of matter. Each of these categories has subcategories. What is painted here first is a bird's eye view. For when the bird is flying at a height, it can see the features from a high point. The connection between the features is not very clear because it is a bird's eye view. It is when one goes deeper into these categories that one may now see how one category may be connected to another or not connected to another. However, the order of these categories in creation is that the first one, that of the spiritual, comes first, then that of the animistic, and finally the world of matter. The world of matter, which many are accustomed to, are familiar with, has many subcategories. One of the subcategory which many or some are used to is that of ethereal matter. Even ethereal matter has also many other subcategories. But the general picture which one has painted, that is how it is. But it should not be taken that what is discussed here is cast in stone. Each person must examine for themselves using the tools available to the personality to do the examination, to do the investigation. The tools which are available to the individuals are first looking out from the world of matter or from the earthly point of view, the senses, the five senses that the personality has, which five senses are connected to the intellect. So one has the five senses and the intellect to investigate. One also has, as a tool granted to the personality, one's intuition, which is completely independent of the world of matter. This intuition is the activity or the effect of the activities of the inner core of man, which is of spirit. It is the intuition and the intellect, the combined working together harmoniously, that can provide to the personality the bird's eye view and the connections which exist here on earth in order to have a fairly clear explanations of all the connections here, or when examined here from the world of matter on earth.
Thank you very much, Gregory, for this answer and picture. It shows how big and massive is this creation, and how we have to go step by step to have an idea what's in this creation. And also, Gregory, multiple questions arise. As you talked, I was thinking, okay, where do we go next? Now, we got a little background noise there, so I hope it's not too disturbing. Gregory, I know it seems like I'm jumping here now, but I think it's necessary we should sort of ask this question as well. This creation, we said it's a process, and you gave the picture of like a condensation of energy into matter as one part of the process. the condenser of energy into matter. I don't know if I've mentioned that. So, but the question is, Gregory, and we said it can't be something coming out of nothing. So, what I want to ask Gregory, how did the creation start? Is there a creator or a power that set it in motion?
The question you asked, when viewed logically and properly, based on the initial conditions and discussions, from which initial conditions and discussions one had referred to the stuff, that stuff which is necessary for the creation of forms, that stuff which had always existed, that stuff is referred to as the natural radiations in which resides in divinity. So that stuff itself, that stuff can be personalized. On the other hand, in the process of creation, one stress that motion is a law. The law which had also been discussed, which laws are expressed as that of reciprocal activity, that of the attraction of homogeneity, and that of gravitation. These laws have arisen out of motion. These laws can also be personalized, and that was why in the process, at the initial discussion, when creation is mentioned, there is the noun and there's also the verb. The noun personalizes the stuff, and also the noun personalizes the law. However, one cannot imagine that the stuff moves by itself, is in motion by itself. Therefore, power is available. Then the question which every personality must ask themselves, where is the source of this power? For it is power that initiates motion. So, viewed correctly, at the top, that power is personalized. That power is considered as is. On the other hand, on the right hand, one may say that stuff, that natural radiation which streams or which come into existence or streams out of the source, which has always been there, that stuff one may refer to as substantiality. And on the left-hand side, that which we have now categorized as the law, that law which needs to work with the stuff of substantiality. Only when the power, substantiality, and the law are considered can one ever talk of creation.
Thank you so much again, Gregory, for that answer. And again, the picture you've painted there. As usual, the more we go into any topic, the deeper the discussion goes and the picture goes. I hope, listeners, you are able to follow what is being said, and also you're recognizing that really this is of course the word creation, and creation is a massive topic anyway, but there are, let's say, ways we can grasp it as well, not so formidable and so, let's say, beyond our comprehension. So these pictures can be absorbed and understood. So thank you for that, Gregory. I'm now wondering, where do we go? So we've really gone top to bottom in a way, Gregory, of creation, how the beginning and not exactly the end, but from top to the bottom of this, what creation is and what are the forms in it. Okay, maybe the next question, which is a little bit sort of obvious to ask, where do we come in, Gregory, the human beings? Because this creation is so massive, from what you've said there. We've got matter, we've got the animistic, we've got the spiritual. I think you even mentioned ethereal there. So, where do we come in, the human beings?
The human personality, the core, which is referred to as the human personality, has its origin in that which is referred to here as spirituality. So, in the highest cadre, in that category of spirituality, therein arose at first for the human personality on earth. There arose first as a spirit spark or a gem, if one may just give it such a name, a spirit gem, a gem which is unconscious or unaware of its surrounding. However, the longing to become conscious is there because it has been implanted into it. Therefore, for it to become conscious, it needed to leave its origin, to wander away from its origin, and through personal experiences, it will then grow and mature into a state of consciousness, a state of awareness of its surrounding, and subsequently, when those things which have been implanted into it also come to maturity, that becomes a state of self-consciousness. Once it has developed into a state of self-consciousness, in all naturalness, it may then return to its origin, from where it will be of support to those who also undergo or who are just starting their own journeys. Is able to be of support through advice, through one's intuition. So the origin of man is in the spiritual.
Thank you for that, Gregory. I've got more to ask, but before I do that, I just want to let the listeners know you're listening to Bless Radio. It's the Tuesday evening spiritual discussion program from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. UK time. The aim of the show is to introduce you to the spiritual knowledge in the light of truth, the Grail message by Abdrushi. And if you're interested in knowing more about the Grail message or want to get a copy of the Grail message for yourself, you can go to this website, which is www.grailmessage.com. I'll spell that. www.grail, Grail, message, MESSAGE.com. And the topic we are discussing tonight is our wonderful creation. You're welcome to join us with any questions or comments by contacting us on our UK number, which is 079 39 641 958. You can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And if you're outside of UK, it is 0044 79 39 641 958. You can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And we are broadcasting on blessradio1.com. That's blessradio1, the number 1.com. Also, you can listen to us on YouTube. Go to youtube.com and type in the search box Bless Radio 1, the number 1 again, space live stream. That's for the live show. You can listen to the recording of this show the next day, also on YouTube. Go to youtube.com and type in the search box Bless Radio 1, the number 1 again, space Grail message, space the topic of the show, which tonight is our wonderful creation. And of course, you can listen to our previous recordings of our previous shows also on YouTube. Thirdly, we're broadcasting on Zeno. That's ZENO.FM/Bless Radio 1, the number 1 again. Gregory, the last question I was asking about us human beings, where do we come in? And you mentioned that you explained that we come from the spiritual, the different parts of this creation, and starting our life as an unconscious spirit germ who is implanted in us to become conscious, which makes common sense, of course. And what I just want to clarify from you, Gregory, so, we are living on the earth right now. And what I want to understand is is all our life is being spent in spiritual world?
Sorry, could you repeat that question?
Yes, yes, yes. You know, you said we human beings are. I think you said our origin is in the spiritual part of creation, and we started. We are. Let's say you said we are started as unconscious spirit germs, wanting to become conscious. And what I want to ask is the whole of our life spent in the spiritual world?
The way it is, the way, the pattern which is in place is whilst here on earth. It means, therefore, we must have left paradise, that which is the spiritual realm of man, as unconscious spirit spark in order to experience. When one has left that particular region and come to the world of matter, it means it's not in the spiritual, but it has only come here to experience. However, once it has experienced aright and has come to a self-conscious human spirit, then in all naturalness, just as is in motion, which motion we had discussed, the features of motion, that which has matured is drawn back to its origin in accordance with the attraction of homogeneity. Being drawn back, that being drawn back, the human personality senses it as a longing forwards. Only when it is back in paradise, in the spiritual realm, only in that neighborhood is it able to effectively support those spirit sparks who are departing for their own journeys in order to experience, in order to start as spirit sparks who have just started to become conscious and subsequently self-conscious. So the goal is, after this development in the right manner, to return back home where the motion is very rapid. For then it knows how to adjust itself.
Thank you so much, Gregory, for this answer. And again, the picture you've painted there. I've received a question from a listener. And I had my own question, but I think I'll go with this question from the listener first. So the listener is asking, are there other worlds in this universe with human beings? Surely this must be, considering the size of it. We are less than a speck of dust, even in our own galaxy. If not, I'll leave the. I think he says it's so big. If not, it's much. Yeah. Let me just say this universe is so big. So let me just repeat that quickly. Are there other worlds in this universe with human beings? Surely this must be, considering the size of it. We are less than a speck of the dust, even in our own galaxy.
Well, to reframe the question, is talking about this world, albeit the gross material, physical universe. That is what it's referring to. And a part of it in which we occupy here on Earth, that part of the universe is referred to as Ephesus. Of course, there are other universes where human personality that need to come to consciousness and subsequently to become self-conscious, incarnated. So this is in this part, the earth is the part that harbors human personality. Do not forget, or should not, be taken for granted, that there was the preparation of this part of the universe to receive the human personality as spirit germs. These took eons of time to prepare it in such a way as to make it habitable for the human personality to incarnate, just as it was possible here in Ephesus. There are other universes where the human personality incarnated in order to mature.
Thank you for that answer, Gregory. Just to be more, not more clear, but just to, let's say, go a little bit further. So you're saying there are more than one universe that exist, and in, let's say, in each of these other universes, there are also human beings existing there. Just to clarify that.
What is stressed is that there are human personalities in the process of maturing in other universes.
Right. And in, let's say, one universe, let's make it simple. We're talking the universe, we human beings living here, we live on the earth, and we know this, excuse me, and we know our universe is massive, the one just we exist on. Are there any other planets, maybe that's another way to put it, in our own universe, the one we are here in this earth, belonging to this earth, to make it clear, any other human beings existing on any other planet?
On a personal note, I am not aware of any other planets within this universe where human personalities abound in order to experience. But the question which each person must ask themselves, what is the aim? What is the purpose of the human personality incarnating in a particular universe? These universes were prepared specially to receive the human personality for its maturity, albeit gradually. And therefore, once they have fulfilled that which they needed to fulfill to allow that which has been implanted in them to come to maturity, then they would have fulfilled the tasks set for them to return home. Whether that person did it here in Ephesus, in this universe, or not, is a different matter. There are many who wish to know about other universes that harbor spiritual personalities that have come to mature. Such questions one must ask: what benefits does it profit such a personality? The first task the personality has is to fulfill that which is demanded of it to come to maturity, to come to spiritual maturity, to come to self-consciousness. Only when it has come to self-consciousness will it, through its intuition, be able to comprehend the opportunities, the grace granted to it for that to happen. Only then will it be able to communicate with others who, like him, set out from the spiritual realm towards the world of matter, which world of matter has 7 different universes which were permitted to harbor the human personality to mature. But each one must strive to fulfill that which they must if they wish to attain to self-consciousness.
Thank you so much, Gregory, for this answer, and in bringing up around what is to all of us, what is really relevant and important for us to consider, about us human beings, our purpose, you can say. Now, what I'm wondering, Gregory, all that you've been saying right up to now, let's say it might sound new to many people, and they will wonder, oh, where is this person getting this information, and even how can one, as an individual, who's looking for answers, sort of verify the answers. Let's say you are expressing it, but someone listening, let's say they've got no. So yes, we can follow what you're saying. I'm not saying it doesn't make sense. They just want to connect with it and say, okay, I don't read this in my history or anything that I've been taught before now. It's something new for me. But how can I really verify it for my own self? So, because Gregory, what I'm pointing to is we don't really know who we are. It's like somebody's telling a story of what, how we came around, how, let's say you gave us your story. If I say your story, you have given a picture of what human beings are, but how can we, Gregory, ourselves as individuals who have not come across this story or this understanding, come to recognize this, realize it or discover it, let's say? How can we discover this understanding of who we are?
In the first instance, the personality needs to use what is available to it to do some thorough investigation. For you can only use that which you have. You cannot use that which you do not yet have, because you lack that which you do not have. That which the human personality has, starting from an earthly point, that will be the 5 senses. Or is it deniable that the human personality, using the physical body, has not got five senses? Those five senses are connected to the brain from where the intellect arose. So one may say, without contradiction, that one has available for it the intellect. So, for that which is of the earth, one should or may use the intellect. That is undeniable. But the next question which the human personality must ask itself is, who am I? Am I of the physical body only? If one is of the physical body only, then it means, as many will wish to hold on to, that what you have is only a collation of atomic cells or molecules or compounds. But what would have put, or what holds all these cells, all these molecules, all these atoms, what holds them together such that it doesn't behave in an arbitrary manner? How come the form of man, which we know is this way, and again is not in an arbitrary manner? That energy which holds it together, that energy, that token, that spark is of spirit. It is the spirit that holds the body together, that makes use of the body. It is the spirit that is capable of awareness, of consciousness. And once the spirit has awakened to its responsibilities, to its tasks, it becomes self-conscious. Now, then the question will be, that which holds the physical body together is of spirit. What language does it use in the communication between the spirit and the body? In very simple, just a simple digression, you are where you are in the UK, one is in Europe. Here we are communicating a structured language, and we are using tools for it. Anyone listening to this program cannot genuinely say to themselves that the tools are the ones that generate the communications. The tools are only channels through which one may reach another. Just as the tools are channels, so also this biological tool which nature has presented to us is a channel. And the communication tool between that which is of spirit, that is the intuitive perception. Now, many may then ask, is there intuition? Is there intuitive perception? These are genuine questions from an intellectual point of view. For one who is awake, one will quickly find out that in any discussion, there will be, oh, my body, myself. The self, that self is the spirit, and the body is the tool. So even the language which is spoken, it becomes very clear. Most of the discussions we have in this forum, the basis we have taken out of the work, which work is available to any discerning personality from the work in the light of truth. This work, which talks about light, therefore of life. Of light, which talks about substantiality and the motion which activates substantiality. That in itself is life. Of the truth, which truth is the law, which has always been. So, when one considers the work in the light of truth, this work presents the picture, not only the bird's eye view of creation, it presents also the connections between the different facets in creation and how it operates. All the operations, the objects that consist of creation, how it arose, and the purpose of creation. This is the opportunity, which opportunity is the grace granted to the human personality who needs to mature, who needs to grow from an unconscious state of spirituality to a conscious state and subsequently to become self-conscious. What has been discussed should not just be assumed and taken for granted. The human personality must examine, must investigate with the tools granted to it. For only through personal, rigorous examination and observation, only in that process in which vigorous motion comes into being, only in that process will the personality generate enough heat, which heat, when generated, will resonate with the streams of the blessings in creation, in the world of matter, to which the human spirit is heir to.
what's happening there. Hello, can you hear me? Okay, it looks like we must have jumped out of the broadcast without realizing. So I was just saying, listeners, this is the Spiritual Discussion Program, and the aim of the show is to introduce you to the spiritual knowledge in the light of truth, the Grail message by Abdushin. And if you are interested in knowing more about the Grail message or want to get a copy of the Grail message for yourself, you can go to this website, which is www.grailmessage.com. I've been told we are off air. I hope we are back on air now. Okay, I hope somebody can confirm that to me. So as I was saying, the website to get the Grail message is www.grailmessage.com. That is www.grailmessage.com. And
hi, Saad, how you doing?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, you got.
Oh, okay, somebody's after me. Let me just check. Hello, listener. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you, but I can't hear Gregory.
Okay, I'm talking. Gregory's on silent. Oh, where is he?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. 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 I'm going to put Gregory. Let me just put him on. Hello, Gregory. You're lost. Okay, I'm going to put you back on. I don't know what happened to the... Just see if you come back. Just tell me when you're back. You're calling you now. Gregory, you're here?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I didn't know. Apologies, listeners. I thought everything was fine, and then people are trying to tell me it's not fine. So it looks like everybody's back, and apologies for that. So somehow we lost the connection. So yes, I want to say the topic we're discussing for the show tonight, for our discussion tonight, is our wonderful creation. And if you're interested in, if you have any questions or comments, please contact us on our UK number, which is 079 39 641 958. You can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And if you're outside of UK, it is 00447939641958. Again, you can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And we are broadcasting on Bless Radio 1, the number 1.com. And you can also listen to us on YouTube. Go to youtube.com and type in the search box, Bless Radio 1, the number 1 again, space, live stream. That's for the live show. You can also listen to the recording of this show the next day, also on YouTube. Go to youtube.com and type in the search box, Bless Radio 1, the number 1 again, space, Grail message, space, the topic of the show, which tonight is our wonderful creation. And of course, you can listen to the recordings of our previous shows as well, also on YouTube. And thirdly, we are broadcasting on Zeno. That's ZENO.FM / Bless Radio 1, the number 1 again. Now, Gregory, so far we're talking about creation. We're talking about us human beings. We are spiritual beings. But the creation, as we know, doesn't exist of just human beings. Even in our own world of matter, or this physical universe that we are in, We know there are animals, there are plants, and so much, which is why we're calling it wonderful creation, our wonderful creation. And I don't think we have mentioned nature up to this point, which is very unusual in our show. So I want to bring it all in now. And I'm thinking, Gregory, we've talked about the process of how we human beings have come about, but then, and we know what is our purpose as human beings, from coming to unconscious spirit germ to become a self-conscious, mature human being or spirit. But what about, the rest of this creation? On this earth, we have plants and we have animals. Do they exist in other parts of creation as well?
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. You talked about plants, basically vegetation. You talked about animals, which is basically the animistic. You didn't talk about the soil. You didn't talk about the weather. You didn't talk about the seas. Of course, that which nature has brought into being in this side of creation, that basically is only a precipitation. That being a precipitation only means that these tokens, which you refer to as plants or as animals, also exist in creation, or not only on earth or in the world of matter, but also exist in the animistic, also in the spiritual, but are of such expressions or are of such magnitude that is much different than what we have here on earth. Even in the realm that preceded, that has always existed, in that realm of divinity, there lions exist, but these are knowing animals. For what we refer to as human spirituality, we said human. So it means there are others that have forms which are not human, but have forms which may be more elegant than that we refer to as human. So there are beings which are human beings. There are beings which are not human beings, but also have a different tasks in creation. The key here is, before striving to find out about others, one should first concern one's efforts about oneself.
Thank you for your answer, Gregory. While you were answering, I received a question from another listener, and they're referring to what you were speaking to earlier about us human beings. So I'm just going to go to the question, and so I know it's slightly diverting now, but let's do that. So it says the speaker, which is you, Gregory, here, mentioned that there are other beings on a planet called Ephesus. I didn't get that part well. Do we soul meaning SOUL, travel to these different planets? I'm going to stop there. So I'll just repeat that question, Gregory. It basically said you mentioned that there are other beings on a planet called Ephesus. I didn't get this part well. Do we souls, I would say, travel to these different planets?
What one stressed was the Earth. The planet Earth belonged to the universe Ephesus. There are other universes other than Ephesus, which universes also harbor developing human spirits or human spirit gems who are striving to consciousness and subsequently self-consciousness. The question which follows, do our souls travel to these universes? That I can say categorically to not be the case. For here on earth, the human personality first needs to develop itself to such a state of awareness and then self-consciousness. That is a huge task for it. So when one has finished one's task, one may go back to the origin. Which origin attracts it if it has developed in accordance with the will of the Almighty that made it possible for it to engage in the process of self-consciousness, in the process of development. So trying to find out whether we go to other universes when here, the school in which we are, we have not made the right efforts to understand aright that which we need to do. Such efforts are complete waste of time and waste of energy. However, a human personality that has matured in accordance with the will of the Almighty, whilst back home as a self-conscious human personality, is permitted to influence those human personalities or those human spirit sparks that need to come to self-consciousness to be able to influence those who are just departing so as to minimize the mistakes which they might make. So from right home in the paradise of man, many human spirits that have matured are able to guide, to influence those who are still on earth or in other universes and who are maturing. In that case, they do it knowingly. That is different from those living this universe which is referred to as Ephesus, of which you have this planet Earth, and going to another universe, so in their soul bodies. These are speculations which have been stressed here and there. Many a human personality, the soul of many a human personality, many a time becomes sensitive to the ethereal realm. In that sensitivity, many consider they are traveling to other realms. That is not the case. They have only opened themselves to the streams of power, which they then experience, but they call it so many different names. Hello? Hello?
Oh, apologies. I was on mute. I was talking while I was on mute. I didn't realize. So thank you very much, Gregory, for this answer. I just wanted to say that I really do appreciate that a lot of information and knowledge is being, how can I say, put over in our radio show, and it is quite understandable when people who are listening can get a bit, I don't want to use the word confused, but sort of a little bit mixed up, with the words, you can say. So I'm glad they asked questions, and and here we are to help sort of clarify these things, because it is quite a big picture we are painting. And then, Gregory, as you have said already, we need to focus on the important points. Let's say a lot of things are interesting to to many people, but it's really the point, let's say the crux of everything should be to focus on the important picture, really, of what creation is, who we are, what is our process, what is our purpose, and the processes involved, all these processes involved. So what I'm trying to point to is keep it as general as possible. Yes, we are on the Earth. Yes, there are other planets. Yes, potentially we human beings can live on another planet. Yes, all that is all very interesting, and we are, let's say, many people make films and stories like this, but the bottom line is, what do we need answers to as human beings for our advancement, for our development? And that's the whole point here. So, and this topic is huge, what we're calling our wonderful creation. So it'll take time, I can say, to, absorb everything. So, Gregory, there's so many questions we can keep asking on this topic, non-stop, really. And I'm just trying to sort of be careful not to, let's say, go in too many different places. But what I want to understand now, Gregory, we saw that there's a process of how we human beings have come here on this earth, on a journey, of development. And but what I'm wondering, Gregory, let's say from our previous shows, we know that human beings have free will. Okay, so we are, you could say, masters of our fate. The thing is, as we also know from our previous shows, man is prone to going astray, and not only causing destruction to himself and to his fellow humans, but also to the rest of the the world that he lives in. And then you start wondering, what can be done to, is there that we will lose hope that maybe, we're all doomed in general? There might be a few individual human beings who are, let's say, going, living aright, if I can say that way, but the most of us are going astray. So my question is, Gregory, what's the general trend here? Are we, is there's a future for the humanity? Can you hear me?
I am unable to pick the basic points in that question.
I'm just saying that the way human beings have been living, we know we have our free will, and the majority of us seem to be going astray, or at least the earth we've been living on, we've been not living in a, let's say, in a balanced way, in a beneficial way. So the future seems to be doomed. So my question is there a way for the human beings to be saved?
Well, when you say the future seems to be doomed, that is a precise and correct statement, but the future is only doomed for those who have not cultivated those skills, those talents implanted in them in accordance with the will of the Almighty that first permitted them to come into existence. Here in the world of matter, the world of matter is transient. That means it comes into being, it matures, and it gets to a ripeness, then overripeness, and it falls back. That means it disintegrates to its primeval substances. That is the motion here in the world of matter. Within that motion, the human personality is granted space in the world of matter to mature. That means to allow through experiences those talents which has been implanted into it to come to fruition. If that is the case, it comes to fruition, it means it's able to swing as a self-conscious human personality, then it can return home. If, however, within the swinging of coming into existence in the world of matter, of coming into existence of the world of matter, and the subsequent disintegration of the world of matter to its primeval substances, if the human personality is unable to awaken of itself those talents in order to come to self-consciousness, then the danger is there that it will be drawn along into disintegration. It means, therefore, that that structure which it has cultivated up to the time you have the world of matter going into disintegration, that structure will also disintegrate. Then in that scenario, the human germ, that spark, returns back home as an unconscious spirit germ. It means, therefore, the opportunities granted to it to develop those opportunities, those resources, all those were in vain. That is the danger. which the human personality must strive to avoid. Therefore, the time has come for the human personality to awake.
Thank you so much, Gregory, for this answer. I'm afraid, listeners, we've come to the end of the show. This topic, I think we could talk another 2 hours easily. And I know we started a bit late, so I apologize for that. But we will come to end now, and I hope you have enjoyed the discussion on our topic, our wonderful creation. So I'd like to end the show by reading the foreword of the Grail message, titled "For Your Guidance." The bandage falls, and belief becomes conviction. Liberation and redemption lie only in conviction. I am addressing earnest seekers only. They must be able and willing to examine this matter objectively. Religious fanatics and irresponsible enthusiasts may hold aloof, for they are detrimental to the truth. As for the malevolent and prejudiced, they shall find their sentence in the very words. The message will strike only those who still carry within them a spark of truth and the yearning to be true human beings. To all such it will become the shining light and staff. It will lead them unswervingly out of all the chaos of the present-day confusion. The following word does not bring a new religion, but is intended as the torch to help all serious listeners or readers find the right path, which leads them to the longed-for height. Only he who bestirs himself can advance spiritually. The fool who uses extraneous aids for this, in the form of ready-made opinions of others, only walks his path as if on crutches, while ignoring his own healthy limbs. But the moment he boldly uses all the abilities which lie dormant within him, awaiting his call to help in his ascent, he is employing the talent entrusted to him in accordance with his Creator's will, and will easily overcome all obstacles that seek to divert him. Therefore awake. Genuine faith lies only in conviction, and conviction comes solely through an inflexible weighing and examining. See that you're truly alive in the wonderful creation of your God. Abdurrasheen. Just to remind you listeners, if you want to get a copy of the Grail message or get more information on the Grail message, you can go to this website called, which is www.grailmessage.com. I'll spell that. www.grail, Grail, message, MELSAG.com. Gregory, anything you'd like to say to the listeners to say goodbye?
Wishing all listeners a beautiful week.
Thank you. Listeners, I do keep getting an echo, and I hope you've been able to listen to us well. I know we've had a few issues, and apologize for that again. We'll be back, as usual, next week, Tuesday, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. UK time with another topic. I wish you too also a great week. God bless. Good night.